Chapter 13, Transfer Pricing. Test your knowledge questions. Question number 1. Examine the consequences that would follow if the assessing officer makes adjustment to arm's length price in international transactions of the assessee, resulting in increase in taxable income. What are the remedies available to the assessee to dispute such adjustment? Answer. In case the assessing officer makes adjustment to arm's length price in an international transaction which results in increase in taxable income of the assessee, increase in taxable income of the assessee, the following consequences shall follow. First, no deduction under section 10AA or chapter 6A shall be allowed from the income so increased. No deduction under section 10AA or chapter 6A shall be allowed from the income so increased. No corresponding adjustment would be made to the total income of the other associated enterprise in respect of payment made by the assessee from which tax has been deducted or is deductible at source on account of increase in total income of the assessee on the basis of arm's length price so recomputed. No corresponding adjustment would be made to the total income of the other associated enterprise in respect of payment made by the assessee from which tax has been deducted or is deductible at source on account of increase in the total income of the assessee on the basis of arm's length price so recomputed. The remedies available to the assessee to dispute such adjustments. Remedies available to the assessee to dispute such an adjustments are: in case the assessee is an eligible assessee under section 144C, he can file his objections to the variations made in the income within 30 days. File an objections to the variations made in his income within 30 days of the receipt of draft order by him to the dispute resolution panel and assessing officer. Appeal against the order of the assessing officer in pursuance of the directions of the dispute resolution panel can be made to the income tax appellate tribunal. Second remedy, in any other case, he can file an appeal. Under section 246A to the Commissioner Appeals against the order of assessing officer within 30 days from the date of service of notice of demand. Third remedy, the assessee can opt to file an application for revision of order. Application for revision of order of assessing officer under section 264 within 1 year from the date on which the order sought to be revised is communicated, provided the time limit for appeal to the Commissioner Appeals or Income Tax Appellate Tribunal has expired or the assessee has waived the right of such an appeal. The eligibility conditions stipulated in section 264 shall be fulfilled. Question number 2. I Limited, an Indian company, supplied billets to its holding company U Limited, UK during the previous year 2021. I Limited also supplied the same product to another UK-based company V Limited, an unrelated entity. The transactions with U Limited are priced at Euro 500 per metric ton freight on board basis, where the transactions with V Limited are priced at euro 700 per metric ton CIF basis. Insurance and freight amounts to euro 200 per metric ton. Insurance and freight amounts to 200 euros per metric ton. Compute the arm's length price for the transaction with U Limited. In this case, I Limited, the Indian company, supplied billets to its foreign holding company U Limited. Since the foreign company U Limited is the holding company of I Limited and U Limited are associated enterprises within the meaning of section 92A. Associated enterprises within the meaning of section 92A. As I Limited supplies similar products to an unrelated entity, that is V Limited in UK. The transactions between I Limited and V Limited can be considered as comparable uncontrolled price transactions. For the purpose of determining the arm's length price of the transaction between I and U Limited, that is comparable uncontrolled price method of determination of arm's length price would be applicable in this case. Transaction with U Limited are on FOB basis, whereas transactions with V Limited are on CIF basis. The difference has to be adjusted before comparing the price. Difference has to be adjusted before comparing the prices. Price per metric ton or to V Limited is 700 less cost of insurance and freight is 200. So adjusted price per metric ton is 500. Hence it was transferred to U at 500. Since the adjusted price for V Limited UK and the price fixed for U Limited are the same, the arm's length price of euro 500 metric ton, since the sale price to the related party and unrelated party is same, sale price to related party is equal to unrelated party. The transaction with related party U Limited has also been carried out at arm's length price. Question number 3. X Limited, operating in India, is the dealer for the goods manufactured by Yen Limited of Japan. Yen Limited owns 55% shares of X Limited, and out of 7 directors of the company, 4 were appointed by them. The assessing officer, after verification of international transactions of 300 lakhs of X Limited for the relevant year, and by noticing that the company had failed to maintain the requisite record and had also not obtained the accountant's report, adjusted its income by making an addition of 30 lakh rupees to the declared income, and also issued a show cause notice to levy various penalties. X Limited seeks your expert opinion. The fact of the case indicates that X Limited and Yen Limited are associated enterprises. Since Yen Limited holds 55% of shares of X Limited and has appointed more than half of the board of directors of X Limited, since Yen Limited is a non-resident, any transaction between X Limited and Yen Limited would fall within the meaning of international transaction under section 92B. Therefore, the income arising from such transaction have to be computed having regard to arm's length price. The action of the assessing officer in making addition to the declared income and issuing a show cause notice for levy of various penalties is correct. Since X Limited had committed defaults as listed hereunder, in respect of which penalty as briefed hereunder is imposable. Penalty imposable. Imposable penalty is: first, failure to report any international transaction. Failure to report any international transaction or transactions deemed to be an international transaction or any specified domestic transaction. International transaction deemed to be an international transaction or any specified domestic transaction to which the provisions of chapter 10 provisions of chapter 10 applies would attract a penalty at the rate 200% of the amount of tax payable. Penalty will be 200% of the amount of tax payable, since it is a case of misreporting of income. Referred under section 270A subsection 9. Read with section 270A subsection 8. Second penalty is failure to maintain the requisite records. First was failure to report. Second is failure to maintain requisite records. Under section 92D, in relation to international transaction, makes it liable for a penalty under section 271AA, which will be 2% of the value of international transaction. Failure to maintain requisite records, section 92, penalty under section 271AA, that will be 2% of value of international transaction. Third point, failure to furnish report. First was failure to report. Second was failure to maintain the requisite records. Third is failure to furnish report. From an accountant, failure to furnish a report from an accountant. Under section 92E, makes it liable for a penalty. Under section 271BA, that will be a fixed penalty of rupees 1 lakh. The assessing officer shall give an opportunity of being heard to the assessee with a notice as to why the arm's length price should not be determined on the basis of material or information or document in the possession of the assessing officer. It is assumed that X Limited has not entered into an advance pricing agreement and has also not opted to subject to safe harbor rules. Next is question number 4. Anush Motor Limited, an Indian company, declared income of rupees 300 crore computed in accordance with Chapter 4D, but before making any adjustments in respect of the following transaction for the year ended 31st March 2021. First, 10,000 cars sold to Rida Limited, US company, which holds 30% shares in Anush Motors Limited at a price which is less by $200 each car than the price charged from Chinto Limited. Second part of question is royalty of 1 crore 20 lakh dollars was paid to Kyoto Limited, a US company, for use of technical know-how in the manufacturing of car. However, Kyoto Limited had provided the same know-how to another Indian company for 90 lakh dollars. Kyoto Limited is the sole owner of technology used by Anush Motors Limited in its manufacturing process. Third part is loan of Euro 1000 crores carrying interest at the rate 10% per annum advanced by Dorf Limited, a German company, was outstanding on 31st March 2021. The total book value of assets of Anush Motors Limited on the date was 90,000 crore rupees. The said German company had also advanced a loan of similar amount to another Indian company at 9% per annum. Total interest paid for the year was Euro 100 crores. Explain in brief the provisions of the Act affecting all these transactions and compute the income of the company chargeable to tax for assessment year 21-22, keeping in mind the value of $1 and €1 was 63 and rupees 84 respectively throughout the year. So answer number 4 is any income arising from an international transaction. Any income arising from an international transaction where two or more associated enterprises enter into a mutual agreement or arrangement shall be computed having regard to arm's length price as per provisions of Chapter 10 of the Act. Section 92A defines associated enterprises, and subsection 2 of this section speaks of the situation when the two enterprises shall be deemed to be associated as enterprises. Applying the provisions of section 92A, subsection 2, clause A to clause M, to the given fact, it is clear that Anush Motors Limited is associated with first part, Rida Limited. As per section 92A, subsection 2, clause A, because this company holds shares carrying more than 26% of voting power in Anush Limited, these are associated enterprises. Second part is Kyoto Limited. As per section 92A, subsection 2, clause G, since the company is the sole owner of technology, by Anush Motors Limited in its manufacturing process. Third point, Dorf Limited, as per section 92A, subsection 2, clause C, since company has financed an amount which is more than 51% of book value of total assets of Anush Motors Limited. Hence, therefore, they are related parties. The transactions entered into by Anush Motors Limited as computed under Chapter 4D prior to adjustments as per Chapter 10. Income is 300 crore rupees. Now we have to add difference on account of adjustment in the value of international transactions. Difference. First, difference in price of the car at the rate $200 each for 10,000 cars at the rate of 63 rupees per dollar. That is 12.6 crore rupees. Second part is difference for excess payment of royalty. Difference for excess payment of royalty of $30 lakh per dollar 63 rupees. So $30 lakh into 63, that is 18.90 crore rupees paid towards royalty in excess. Third, difference for excess interest paid on loan. excess interest paid on loan of euro 1000 crore. 1 euro is equal to 84 rupees into 1%. ₹840 crores. Therefore, 300 plus 12.6 plus 18.9 plus 840. 1171.5 crore will be the total income of Anush Motors Limited for the assessment year 21-22. The difference for excess payment of royalty has been added back, presuming that the manufacturer of cars by Anush Motors Limited is wholly dependent on the use of know-how owned by Kyoto Limited. Note: it is presumed that Anush Motors Limited has not entered into an advance pricing agreement or opted to subject to rules of safe harbor rules. Next question. Question number 5. What is the legislative objective of bringing into existence the provisions relating to transfer pricing in relation to international transactions? Provisions relating to transfer pricing in relation to international transactions. The presence of multinational enterprises in India and their ability to allocate profits in different jurisdictions by controlling prices in intra-group transactions. Multinational enterprises in India and their ability to allocate profits in different jurisdictions by controlling prices in intra-group transactions prompted the government to set up an expert group to examine the issues relating to transfer pricing. There is a possibility that two or more entities belonging to the same multinational group can fix up their prices for goods and services and allocate profits among the enterprises within the group in such a way that there may be either no profit or negligible profit in the jurisdiction which taxes such profits and substantial profit in the jurisdiction which is tax haven or where the tax liability is minimum. Country which is a tax haven or where the tax liability is minimum. This may adversely affect a country's share of due revenue. This may adversely affect a country's share of due revenue. The increasing participation of multinational groups in economic activities in India has given rise to new and complex issues. Emerging from transactions entered into between two or more enterprises belonging to the same multinational group. The profits derived by such enterprises carrying on business in India can be controlled by the multinational group by manipulating the prices charged and paid in such intergroup transactions, which may lead to erosion of tax revenue. Therefore, transfer pricing provisions have been brought in Finance Act 2001 with a view to provide a statutory framework which can lead to computation of reasonable, fair and equitable profits. Reasonable, fair and equitable profits and tax in India in the case of such multinational enterprises. Next question is question number 6. XE Limited is an Indian company in which Zilla Incorporation, a US company, has 28% shareholding and voting power. Following transactions were effected between these two companies during the financial year 2021. First transaction. XE Limited sold 1 lakh pieces of t-shirts at $2 per t-shirt to Zilla Incorporation. The identical t-shirts were sold to unrelated party, namely Kennedy Incorporation, at $3 per t-shirt. Second part is XE Limited borrowed $2 lakh from a foreign lender based on the guarantee of Zilla Incorporation. For this, XE Limited paid $10,000 as guarantee fee to Zilla. To an unrelated party for the same amount of loan, Zilla collected $7,000 as guarantee fee. Third part is XE Limited paid $15,000 to Zilla for getting various potential customer details to improve its business. Zilla provided the same service to unrelated parties for $10,000. Assume the rate of exchange, that is $1 is equal to 64 rupees. XE Limited is located in a special economic zone and its income before transfer pricing adjustments for the year ended 31st March 2021 was 1200 lakh rupees. Compute the adjustment to be made to the total income of XE Limited. Assuming that such adjustments are made by the assessing officer, state whether it can claim deduction under section 10AA for the income enhanced by applying transfer pricing provisions. Answer to question number 6 is XE Limited is an Indian company. Zilla Incorporation is a US based company. The US company are deemed to be associated enterprises as per section 92A subsection 2 clause A. Since Zilla holds not less than 26% of voting power in XE Limited. As per the explanation to section 92B, the transaction entered into between these two companies for sale of product, lending or guarantee, and provision of services relating to market research are included within the meaning of international transaction. Accordingly, transfer pricing provisions would be attracted and the income arising from such international transaction have to be computed having regard to the arm's length price. In this case, from the information given, the arm's length price has to be determined. Taking the comparable uncontrolled price method to be the most appropriate method. Calculation. Amount by which total income of XE Limited is enhanced on account of adjustment in the value of international transactions. First, difference in price of t-shirt, that is $3 minus $2 is equal to $1 per t-shirt, and 1 lakh pieces of t-shirt are sold to Zilla. $1 is equal to 64 rupees. Therefore, it's rupees in lakhs. 1 lakh into 64 is 64 lakh rupees. Second point was difference for excess payment of guarantee fees. To Zilla Incorporation for loan borrowed from foreign lender, that is $3,000 extra was given into 64 rupees. 1.92 lakh rupees. Third part was difference for excess payment for services. Excess payment for services to Zilla Incorporation was $5,000 was excess paid into 64 rupees per dollar. 3.2 lakhs. 64 plus 1.92 plus 3.2 is 69.12 lakh is the amount by which total income of XE Limited should be enhanced. on account of adjustment in the value of international transactions. XE Limited cannot claim deduction under section 10AA in respect of 69.12 lakh rupees, being the amount of income by which total income is enhanced by virtue of first proviso to section 92C subsection 4. Next question number 7. Examine the correctness or otherwise of the following with reference to the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961. First part is, transfer pricing rules shall have no implication where income is computed on the basis of book profits. We have to examine whether these provisions are correct or not. So first provision is, transfer pricing rules have no implication where income is computed on the basis of book profits. Transfer pricing rules have no implications where income is computed on the basis of book profits. This statement is correct. For the purpose of computing book profit for levy of minimum alternate tax, computing book profit for levy of minimum alternate tax, the net profit shown in the statement of profit and loss prepared in accordance with Companies Act can increase or decrease only by the addition or deductions specified in explanation 1. Explanation 1 below section 115JB subsection 2. No other adjustment can be made to arrive at the book profit for levy of MAT except no other adjustment can be made to arrive at the book profit for levy of MAT except where it is discovered that the statement of profit and loss is not drawn up in accordance with the relevant schedule of Companies Act. B. Incorrect accounting policies and or accounting standards have been adopted for preparing accounts. Incorrect accounting policies and or accounting standards have been adopted for preparing such accounts. Third point, the method and rate of depreciation adopted. The method and rate of depreciation adopted is not correct. Therefore, transfer pricing adjustment cannot be made while computing book profit for levy of MAT. Second statement is, assessing officer can complete the assessment of income from international transactions in disregard of order passed by transfer pricing officer by accepting the contention of assessee. Assessing officer can complete the assessment of income from international transactions in disregard of the order passed by transfer pricing officer by accepting the contention of assessee. This statement is not correct. Why it is not correct? As per section 92CA subsection 4 provides that on receipt of the order of transfer pricing officer, on receipt of order of transfer pricing officer, on receipt of order of TPO determining the arm's length price of an international transaction, the assessing officer shall proceed to compute the total income in conformity with the arm's length price determined by the transfer pricing officer. The assessing officer shall proceed to compute the total income in conformity with the arm's length price determined by the transfer pricing officer. The order of transfer pricing officer is binding on assessing officer. Therefore, the assessing officer cannot complete the assessment of income from international transactions in disregard of order of transfer pricing officer by accepting the contention raised by the assessee. Next question is question number 8. Examine the reasons whether the two enterprises referred to in the independent situations given below can be deemed to be associated enterprises under Indian transfer pricing regulations. First question. PQR Incorporation, a US company having its place of effective management also in the USA, has advanced a loan equivalent to 170 crore rupees to Mahanadi Limited, an Indian company, on 10th of April 2020. The total book value of assets of Mahanadi Limited is 300 crores. The market value of the assets, however, is 320 crores. Mahanadi Limited repaid rupees 30 crores before 31st March 2021. We have to answer whether these two organizations are associated enterprises or not. So the answer to first question is PQR Incorporation. It is a foreign company and has advanced a loan of rupees 170 crores to Mahanadi Limited, which is an Indian company. This loan amounts to 56.67% of book value of assets of Indian company. Since the loan advanced by PQR Incorporation is 51% or more of the book value of assets of Indian company, 51% or more of the book value of Mahanadi Limited, that is an Indian company. PQR Limited and Mahanadi Limited are deemed to be associated enterprises under Indian transfer pricing regulations. The deeming provision would be attracted even if there is a repayment of loan. The deeming provision would be attracted even if there is a repayment of loan during the same previous year, which brings down the said percentage below 51%. Hence, repayment of loan will not change the contention. It will be an associated enterprises. Second part of this question is Queensland PLC, a French company having its place of effective management also in France, has the power to appoint 3 of the directors of Godavari Limited, an Indian company, whose total number of directors in the board is 8. Hence, half of board of directors are not appointed by this French company. Answer to this is Queensland PLC, a foreign company, has the power to appoint 37.5%, that is 3 out of 8 directors of the Indian company Godavari Limited. 2 enterprises would be deemed to be associated enterprises. 2 enterprises would be deemed to be associated enterprises if more than half of the board of directors of one enterprise are appointed by other enterprise. Hence, in the given case, since Queensland PLC has the power to appoint only 37.5%, which is less than half of the directors of Indian company Godavari Limited, Queensland PLC and Godavari Limited are not deemed to be associated enterprises. Third part of question number 8. Question is total value of raw materials and consumables of Saraswati Limited, an Indian company, is rupees 900 crore. Of this, supplies to the tune of 830 crores are by Zoel GmbH, a German company having its place of effective management in Germany, at prices and terms decided by the German company. So the answer to third part is, since Zoel GmbH, a German company, supplies 92.22% of the raw material, 92% of raw material and consumables required by Saraswati Limited, an Indian company, which is more than the specified limit. That is more than 90%, and the prices and terms of supply are decided by the German company. The two companies are deemed to be associated enterprises. The two companies are deemed to be associated enterprises. Question number 9. NP Limited, an Indian company, has borrowed 80 crore rupees on 1st of April 2020 from Messrs TL Incorporation, a company incorporated in London, at an interest rate of 10% per annum. The said loan is repayable over a period of 5 years. Further, loan is guaranteed by Messrs ST Incorporation, incorporated in US. Messrs Tweed Incorporation, a non-resident, holds shares carrying 40% of voting power both in Messrs NP Limited and Messrs ST Incorporation. Net profit of Messrs NP Limited for previous year 2021 was Rs 7 crore after debiting the above interest, depreciation of 6 crore and income tax of Rs 4 crore. Calculate the amount of interest to be disallowed under the head PGBP in the computation of Messrs NP Limited. Give appropriate reasons. So the answer to 9th question is, if an Indian company, being the borrower, incurs any expenditure by way of interest in respect of any debt issued by its non-resident associated enterprises, and such interest expense exceeds rupees 1 crore, then the interest paid or payable by such Indian company in excess of 30% of its earning before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. Such interest expense which is paid or payable in excess of 30% of EBITDA or interest paid or payable to associated enterprise, whichever is lower, shall not be allowed as deduction. Not allowed as deduction under section 94B. Such amount will not be allowed as deduction under section 94B. Further, where the debt is issued by a lender which is not associated but an associated enterprise, either provides an implicit or explicit guarantee to such lender or deposits a corresponding and matching amount of funds with the lender, such debt shall be deemed to have been issued by an associated enterprise, and limitation of interest deduction would be applicable. In the present case, since Tweed Incorporation holds 40% of voting power, that is more than 26% of voting power in both NP Limited and Messrs ST Incorporation. NP Limited and Messrs ST Incorporation are deemed to be associated enterprises. Since loan of rupees 80 crore taken by NP Limited, an Indian company, from Messrs TL Incorporation is guaranteed by Messrs ST Incorporation, an associated enterprise of NP Limited, since loan of rupees 80 crore is taken by NP Limited. NP Limited is an Indian company. And loan is taken from TL Incorporation. And such loan is guaranteed. Such loan is guaranteed by ST Incorporation. And ST Incorporation is an associated enterprise of NP Limited. Such debt shall be deemed to have been issued by an associated enterprise, and interest payable to Messrs TL Incorporation shall be considered for the purpose of limitation of interest deduction under section 94B. Limitation of interest deduction under section 94B. Hence, computation of interest to be disallowed as per section 94B in the computation of income under the head PGBP of NP Limited. Net profit given in the question is 7 crore rupees. We have to add interest already debited. Interest already debited, which is 10%. 80 crores of loan, 10% of interest is 8 crore rupees. Depreciation we have to add. Depreciation is of 6 crore rupees. Income tax we have to add in net profit of 4 crore rupees. Total amounts to 25 crore, which is EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation. Interest paid or payable by NP Limited. Interest, this amount has been calculated. Now, interest paid or payable by NP Limited. Interest paid was 8 crore rupees. Now we have to calculate whichever is lower between two amounts. That is, first is total interest paid or payable. Total interest paid or payable in excess of 30% of EBITDA. That is, total interest paid or payable in excess of 30% of EBITDA. EBITDA is 25 crores. 30% of 25 crores is 7 crore 50 lakh rupees. Therefore, 8 crore minus 7 crore 50 lakhs. This is 50 lakh rupees. And second option is interest paid or payable. Interest paid or payable to non-resident associated enterprise. This amount is 8 crores. Definitely 50 lakhs is whichever is lower amount. Therefore, interest to be disallowed as deduction. Interest to be disallowed as deduction is this amount.